Good Sunday morning, Unity of Mesa. How are you all doing? This is another hot and sunny day. I'm sure it's become a little tedious, hasn't it? But then again, our winters are beautiful, correct? So this morning, I'm Reverend Judy Hildebrand, and I have the honor of presenting the lesson today. Candee Lewis will be leading our meditation, and Dennis Hubert is going to be our musician. And so let us start in prayer. And let's just take a breath in and release. As some of this world starts to emerge from the dire straits of this pandemic and start to move into a new normal in life. Others we know are struggling with high numbers, and we hold all of this world, all of this planet in prayer. We hold Beirut in prayer and ongoing recovery, possibly some rescue operations. We hold those who experienced the hurricane this week in prayer as they try to figure out how to rebuild their lives again. We hold those who are just feeling like what more can be thrown at them. We hold them in love, we hold them in light. And we hold ourselves in that place of knowing that we are fully supported by the Spirit and by the universe in that relative realm. And that we can have experiences that feel like they're going to take us out. And as we breathe that breath of Spirit, we move through those experiences. We allow ourselves to feel the pain. We allow ourselves to feel the grief. We allow ourselves to feel the anger. We allow ourselves to have moments of joy. We find ways to have uncontrollable laughter. We nourish ourselves with healthy ingredients. We take time during the day for our prayer and meditation work. We take time to cook nourishing food out of those nourishing ingredients. And we find time to exercise. Whatever we did yesterday, we do just one more of today. Just a little something to have forward movement. And we find stories. We find those stories of superheroes, normal people who do super acts in times of crisis. And we feel blessed by knowing that there is goodness in the world. We hold all of our school children and all of the teachers who have been in a place of having to go back to work at this time, at this moment. And we just hold all of that in prayer, holding the highest and the best for each and every person who walks into our schools at this time. And we're grateful for those leaders who are researching or asking for the most educated answers they can find to the questions that we all have. And we hold them up in love and light, and we hold our election process in the highest and the best. and for all of the gifts and all of the growth opportunities. We stand in truth and we move forward in strength. And we are grateful for this community and the friendships within it. And so it is. Amen. And now I turn it over to Dennis for our opening song.
I'd like to sing a song by Ricky Byers-Beckwith and Jimmy Scott, I Release and I Let Go. There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. Didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you're discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you've got to let it go. Just let it all go. And this is what you'll have to say. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yes, I'm only here for God.
Thank you, Dennis. Love the music you're sharing with us. Now it's time for a few things for you to know. Fellowship is once again a virtual garden that is open every Sunday after service. So join me and Reverend Kathy and your Unity friends for fellowship today. It's not too late to sign up. Please register on our website now. Don't wait till after service. Do it now at unitymesa.org, and you will be sent the link so that you can get into the garden. We don't want to miss you. We would love to have you join us, even if it's only for a few minutes. And if you would like to be on our prayer list, our prayer chaplains are ready and willing to pray for you or someone you care about. Go to the Unity Cares page under the Ministries tab on our website for prayer request forms. There you will also find information on direct prayer support and other spiritual support we offer. We have a Unity Cares page because we care. Have you seen our survey? Check your inbox, spam, or junk mail for it. And we would love to hear from you to know how you are feeling about coming back to having church in person. Reverend Kathy is continuing to give a 5-minute Bible talk every Friday morning at 10 a.m. on Facebook and YouTube. These talks explore, question, and reclaim meaning from the biblical text historically, socially, and spiritually. Take a listen, then join Reverend Kathy for discussion the fourth Friday at 7 p.m. This is not designed to be a scholarly discourse, but a genuine search for meaning and understanding. See what treasures can be found as the words come alive. And we also have Karen and Tony continuing to lead our Sangha every Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. You can sign up for either or both Bible Talks discussion, and Sangha meditation on our classes page to receive the Zoom link. And even though we are not physically in our buildings, we continue to care for our physical location and do the work to keep us connected and ready to return whenever that may be. We are so grateful for all the ways that each and every one of you shows up in the world at this time, through your prayers, your affirmations, and letting your light shine and giving from your abundance. Together, we can enlighten, empower, and energize one another to uplift our world through a greater expression of God. And there are many ways to financially support this spiritual community, and directly by ordering books through our website, adding Unity Church of the East Valley as your favorite charity on Smile, Amazon, and Fry's Rewards, or directly through online giving using the Give Plus app, or by sending a check. We pick the mail up every day. All this info and more can be found on our website, unityofmesa.org. If you are watching on YouTube, just click the link in the description. And now, if you would take your gift of love in your hands and share with me our offering blessing. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, Spirit of Abundance. And now, let us prepare for meditation, and I believe we're going to have some music going into the meditation, music and a song going into meditation. Enjoy.
Now let's prepare for meditation with a song I wrote called God Within. I go to the silence. I go to the stillness. I go to the center of my soul. My soul. I stay in the quiet. I breathe in the moment. I rest in the presence of my God. My God within. I go to where I know I am one with it all. I go to where I know I am holy, I am whole. I go to the silence. I go to the stillness. I go to the center of my soul. My soul. I go to that place of peace inside myself, where spirit dwells. I say, in the quiet, I breathe in the moment. I rest in the presence of my God, within, my God, my God, within.
In preparation for meditation, if you'll sit comfortably where you are and clear things from your lap, unless, of course, it's a dog or a cat. Let your hands rest gently on your legs or beside them. And take a few deep breaths in and out, in and out. And when you're ready, close your eyes. Imagine a beautiful white light pouring down through the top of your head, slowly going down your body, relaxing you, calming you, centering you and filling you with light and peace, slowly going down your face, your jaw, down your neck and your shoulders, down your arms, down through your chest and your stomach, along your thighs, over your knees, and down your legs to your feet, connecting you to the earth. And as you relax into a meditative state, repeat to yourself, I am growing in spiritual awareness. While we may feel isolated and disconnected in this time of pandemic, or great pause, as some call it, it can be the perfect time for remembering that we are actually all connected in a loving system. We are not separate from each other, from other living creatures, from trees, plants, the very soil on which we stand and grow. We are not separate from, but are connected to, all of the earth. We are being offered a time to examine, explore, and reassess some past ways of living and being, and to discover ways to come alive and be even more of a force for good in the world, to create a new, more loving, love-filled normal. Change happens, but transformation is always a process of letting go, of imagining new solutions, a new normal, one that works for us individually and collectively, one based on the love from which everything that exists was created. Take time now in silent meditation to dream, as we grow in spiritual awareness, of a new way of being, and to awaken to a greater spiritual awareness of the possibilities of a more sacred way of being. slowly begin to return to the room. Move your fingers and your toes. Move your body. And when you're ready, open your eyes, remembering I am growing in spiritual awareness.
We're starting a new series this week, and it is called Words to Live By. And so this week, I am using a couple of pieces that have shown up for me this summer. In May, one showed up that I was just like, this has to be shared. And then a couple of others have shown up. So these are words that I believe are powerful words to help us move through this time. The emails that I got them out of all came as a daily meditation from the Center for Action and Contemplation, which was founded in 1987 by Franciscan Richard Rohr, and we've used some of his books. Falling Upwards is one of them. He's got several in the Bible. Just very progressive orthodoxy theology, and I really enjoy the questioning that he does. The taking things and turning around and looking at it just a little bit different. So today I'm going to share some of those with you. And they believe, the reason they started their center was that they believed that there was a deep need for the integration of both action and contemplation. If we pray, but we don't act justly, our faith won't bear fruits. Without contemplation, an activist will burn out, and even a well-intended action can cause more harm than good. And so today, as much as ever before in our religious communities and in our environment and our political climate, our compassionate engagement is urgent and it is vital. Today's words to live by come out of the daily meditations during the past few months. And I want you to know that this does fit in with the unity, even though we approach it from kind of two different levels, different branches of Christianity. As we move past words, they're very much in alignment. And we know unity is trying to figure out who it is. Unity is leaving its early adolescent years and moving into young adulthood. And in that is all of the questioning. So what am I going to be when I grow up? Who are we going to be when we grow up? What do I really want to take with me from my childhood into my adulthood? And Kevin Ross, who is actually the person you've been studying in your spirit groups, he wrote a couple of pieces I would like to read to you. And it came out of discussion amongst Unity ministers about what we should be teaching. And there's always those discussions. What should we be doing? What do we believe in? Because as many Unity ministers as there are that many thoughts about what unity should be. But I love the questions he asked. Now that we have existed on the planet for over a century, awakening people to their divine nature, what is our role in engaging society and reflecting the values of inclusion, justice, equality, unconditional love, abundance, and peace? What makes us relevant as a movement in serving the needs of humanity? How do we as a movement profoundly stand as a beneficial presence on the planet and collectively live out the words we sing each week in our peace hymn? Perhaps there's a new synthesis, a new paradigm, and an entirely new archetype being revealed. Even good change can be disruptive, unsettling, and even what's new can be a threat and unwelcome. We will only become what we are meant to become if we lead beyond labels and the limits and forge forward into that very awkward new territory, having unshakable trust in our unchanging source. And with that in mind, I want to invite you into some of the words and ideas and questions posed by the Center for Action and Contemplation this past few months. So first one, which was the strongest pull for me, was the possibility of restraint. Barbara Holmes stated that goodness is a first principle of the universe, and God declares it on the first page of the story of creation. Everything God created was declared as good, including humans. But things that are not human but are alive do not have choices in what they do they? Humans were given a power of free will to choose to destroy or choose to not destroy, whereas a beaver cannot stop damming up the river. He cannot stop building dams, right? Birds cannot not use their gift of flight. It's how they get around, except for those strange ostrich birds. Ants can't stop composting. It's their gift that they have been given. They cannot not do it. But humans have been given the free will to choose. If we're going to destroy, or we choose to not destroy. And that is the gift of restraint. And it's our special gift as humans. It's our superpower. The gift of restraint is our superpower that maybe we have not been using as wisely and as frequently as we should have been during the last 6 months. We have the ability to wreck the earth, to destroy the earth, killing vast numbers of humans, but we also can choose to not do that. We have the power of free will, and the tools that we use within that power would be the tools of nonviolence, standing up to the powerful and the reckless, but doing it through nonviolent methods. We have the fundamental idea of human solidarity, or we call that love, that we can take as our guide. And I believe it is the love, it's the love in our world today that gives me hope, because there is love there, and there are amazing stories coming out. Bill McKibben describes it as the human love that feeds the hungry and clothes the naked. The love that comes together in defense of sea turtles, the love that comes together for the sea ice, and of all else around us that is good. The love that lets each of us see we're not the most important thing on this planet, and that we're okay with that, right? I'm not the most important thing. I am very important, but I am not the most important thing, and I'm okay with that. And over the past 6 months, we have seen this in action, especially by our frontline workers, the first responders, the teams in the hospitals, the doctors in their offices, the grocery workers, those who have had to work in order for us to survive, in order for us to stay alive. And I believe as Christians, we can see restraint. So I believe that we see restraint for the betterment of all those who are wearing masks. We see restraint when we see those staying at home, when we see those distancing, all in order to protect the ones we love and care about, and maybe even ones we do not know, but are part of the human race. So as Christians, we're called to use this gift of restraint. We're called to use it now. In Micah 6:8, we are being called by God to act justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with him, or God, with spirit. So for this minute, choosing restraint may be the biggest gift we can give humanity. And we know Mother Earth received this gift in March when the world seemed to all be locking down. Earth had time to pause and take a breath as we all demonstrated our restraint, our ability to restrain from acting. And we paused this spring. The air grew cleaner, the water was cleaner, the sky was bluer. Everything got to breathe a little easier, including ourselves. And as we all took that pause, and as humanity, we restrained from our typical behaviors for a brief period, the earth started to renew itself. I personally believe that our superpower gift of restraint is what can move us out of this pandemic faster. And by using the gift of restraint, we can come out of it not much heavier than when we went into it, says my superpower restrainer self to my chocolate lover self. So I use restraint every day by not going out and buying that chocolate that I would love to have. And it feels good to use restraint sometimes, doesn't it? It's a superpower. So when can you use your superpower of restraint? The next daily meditation that pulled my heartstrings, I would say, was about our spiritual health. And I was reminded by Brian McLaurin that it matters if we pay attention to our health, not only physically, but spiritually and ethically as well. And I would add mentally also. And during this panic, we have discovered without any doubt that we are one, completely interconnected. And like any whole entity, we do not always take care of all the parts of ourselves. We used to think we caught diseases as individuals. I'm sick, you are not. But now we are very much aware that we catch diseases as individuals who are part of families, and families who are part of communities, and communities who are part of cities, cities that are part of states, and states that are part of nations, which are part of our whole planet, which is able to be changed due to our interconnectedness or oneness with one little virus, or one little drop of love. We know without doubt that our physical health has the capacity to infect and affect the world. This one virus has made each of us very aware of that capacity. And maybe it is the appropriate time to look at the other viruses that have been spreading and causing even greater damage without our awareness. What if we were to become as passionate as we are about testing for the coronavirus and put that same amount of thought, time, and energy into wanting to test ourselves for some of these social and spiritual viruses that continue to spread among us from individual to individual, from generation to generation, and are not named. These are the social and spiritual viruses like racism, white supremacy, human supremacy, Christian supremacy, and any kind of hostility that is spread based on prejudice and fear. Would you be willing to do self-assessment to see how infected you might have become in your lifetime to these viruses? And would you be willing to look at structures and systems and biases that continue to support the vitality of these viruses? As Brian McLaurin wrote, as we experience discomfort in this time, let's begin to dream of a new normal that addresses the weaknesses and problems that are going unaddressed in the old normal. If we're wise, we won't go back. We will go forward. And as we answer that call, we need to remember that the word change refers to new beginnings. But the mystery of transformation usually happens not when something new begins, but when something old falls apart or ends. And that type of chaos is frequently painful. But it invites the soul to listen at a deeper level and to move to a new level of growth. Are we at an edge and willing to let go of what was in order to allow something better to emerge? Can we spiritually find new meaning for ourselves, that which enhances meaning for others and moves towards goodness for all? And the third meditation that I really enjoyed was one about holistic peace. And holistic peace, according to the Peace Ripples Institute, is a whole system's vision of peace, which extends from state of inner peace all the way out to a true culture of peace and a world that supports the flourishing of all sentient beings. As we look with greater awareness to what is ours to do within the pandemic and beyond, I want to share a story of a Nobel Peace Prize winner, Professor Rangari Matai. It is a story about how peaceful change starts within us and grows incrementally from where we are. Our social and physical location will influence the problems we see and the solutions we can imagine. And according to Professor Rangari Matai, we must think globally and act locally. She was a young biologist in Kenya who recognized that a massive replanting program could both save the land and provide a source of income for Nairobi's poor. She created a small organization that paid the local women to plant trees. Since the beginning, they have planted upwards of 40 million trees in Africa and provided sources of income for nearly 1 million women. That in itself is amazing, but the lessons were even more amazing. The participants discovered that they must be part of the solutions. They found their hidden potential and became empowered to overcome inertia and take action. They recognized that they were the primary custodians and beneficiaries of the environment that sustains them. Entire communities came to understand that while it is necessary to hold their governments accountable, it is equally important that in their own relationships with each other, they exemplify the leadership values they wish to see in their own leaders, namely justice, integrity, and trust. So are we exemplifying the values that we wish to see in our own leaders? Through the Greenbelt movement, thousands of ordinary citizens were mobilized and empowered to take action and effect change. They overcame fear and a sense of helplessness, and in this they moved to create a political change in Kenya, one which gave power to all the people to overcome corruption, abuses of power, and environmental mismanagement. So as a spiritual practice, we can wake up to the possibility of shifting to a new level of consciousness. We can improve those possibilities, try them out in the creative microcosm of a shared public life, community, real life, or community, right? Realizing that our way of life before the pandemic was not perfect, but we have the ability to effect change. Pray, then find an action to take. And I would like to close with a poem, a poem, which can serve as a guide as we look backward to what has been since mid-March. It was written in March 11th, and what we want to carry forward. And it can serve as a guide, I think, as we move forward, creating a sustainable world for all, eradicating this physical virus and the viruses of supremacy and systemic injustice and bias in the world. And so this was written by Lynn Ungar, and I believe that we actually shared it, but to come across it again, it came across in several memes this week for me, so I'd like to share it one more time. It's called Pandemic. What if you thought of it as the Jews consider the Sabbath, the most sacred of times? Cease from travel, cease from buying and selling. Give up, just for now, on trying to make the world different than it is. Sing, pray, touch only those to whom you commit your life. Center down. And when your body has become still, reach out with your heart. Know that we are connected in ways that are terrifying and beautiful. Know that our lives are in one another's hands. Do not reach out your hands, reach out your heart. Reach out your words. Reach out all the tendrils of compassion that move invisibly, where we cannot touch. Promise this world your love, for better or for worse, in sickness and in health, so long as we all shall live. And so it is. And now it's my honor to turn this over to Dennis as he teaches us a little bit about what would you do if you were brave. Namaste.
I'd like to sing a song by Janice Stanfield and Jimmy Scott, If I Were Brave. What would I do if I knew I couldn't fail? If I believed with the wind always fill up my sail? How far could I go? What could I achieve? Trusting the hero in me. If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge where true believers dare to tread. I'd never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What if we're all meant to do what we secretly dream? What would you ask if you knew you could have anything? Like the mighty oak sleeps in the heart of a seed, are there miracles in you and me? If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge where true believers dare to tread. I'd never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? If I refuse to listen to the voice of fear, would the voice of courage whisper in my ear? I am brave, I walk the razor's edge, a true believer where I tread. I never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave?
So thank you, Dennis, so very much for that delightful song. One of my favorites always. And as you go forward this week, look at ways in which you are demonstrating restraint. Look at ways that your spiritual health is thriving, along with your moral, ethical, physical, and mental health, social health. And look at what ways you can turn what you are doing into something a little bit more holistic, something that is more expansive. And we bless you all. Looking forward to next week when we share some of your quotes, some of your writings that have supported you through this time. Have a blessed week. Bye.